I can do anything. I can reach any goal today. I can do what I want. I can be what I want to be.
Welcome to today's I Love Monday blog, and I'm so excited. This is the first time I've actually met Michelle.
It is.
Yeah, it's great. Firstly, Michelle, thank you very much for coming, for allowing me to
my
come
pleasure.
and interview you. Tell us a little bit about your business. So firstly, what is it called and what do you do? I've left it a surprise.
All right, okay. Well, big shoes to fill. My name's Michelle-Jewels-Parsons and my business name is The Organic Celebrant.
Yes.
I'm actually a funeral celebrant, so I run my own business along with my husband, and I perform funeral services.
Yep.
I also do renewal of vows and christening and naming days, but predominantly my business is doing celebrancy and leading funerals.
Yeah, what an amazing field to be in, hey. And so this is your third year in business, about 2.5 years?
Christmas Eve, it'll be 3 years we've had the business.
Amazing. So Michelle, you have to share with us, of all of the different businesses that you could start up, why on earth go into this space?
I picked the trickiest, didn't I?
Yeah.
I've always been really comfortable around death.
Yep.
Even as a child, I was very comfortable, and I was very privileged to spend over 10 years working as a volunteer and in corporate fundraising with Mary Potter Hospice through the Mary Potter Foundation.
Okay.
And it was absolutely life-changing for me. How you deal with the circumstances when someone passes away and how you honour their life and how you say goodbye plays a very big part in your grieving process. And for me, it's a real privilege to be involved with families at a really difficult time.
Yeah, and it's one of the most difficult times that a family can go through. And so how do you find that being in that space for a family and then coming home to your own family and still keeping such a sense of joy and cheer about you, because you're such a positive and upbeat person?
It really, and it's a choice.
Yeah.
We were
beautiful.
chatting.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a choice, and I believe that every day, how we start our day is a choice. I have 2 words which are my key words, which are gratitude and abundance. So the first words that I utter to myself when I open my eyes in the morning is that I'm so grateful to be here, and that what can I do today to live my life abundantly?
Yeah. It's such a privilege to wake up each day and absolutely love what you do.
I do.
And see it as your gift to be able to do what you do for others. So when you first started out, so 2.5 years ago, was there a catalyst or a turning point for you, Michelle, where you said, you know what, I want to do my own thing and this is what I'm going to do?
Yes.
Okay, tell us about that.
I have been working in fundraising for about 12 or 13 years. So I have a life plan, and
great. We do life plans
on the wall over there. We actually have a vision board.
Oh, love it!
So
this whole house looks like a vision board. Actually, it's amazing.
We try and have a very positive environment to work in, and because I work from home, I like to be stimulated by things that just remind me of my purpose.
Yes,
and how blessed I am to be here.
Yeah.
So part of my life's journey and my life plan was to be a funeral celebrant in retirement. Okay. So I decided on my 40th birthday that was going to be the catalyst, and I was going to study my celebrancy. Yeah. So while I was working in fundraising, I just finished a degree in fundraising, I decided to study my celebrancy. Yeah. And I did that for 18 months so that I was qualified for my life when it was going to happen and start in retirement.
And how long did you think retirement would be? So you were kind of getting prepared for something many years later?
Oh, absolutely. Look, I had the whole mindset of I'm going to retire when I'm 60, and then I'm going to do what I want to do. So 20 years, I've got plenty of time.
Yep.
And at 3:23 one morning, my gorgeous, beautiful husband woke me up and said, honey. And I said, yes. And he said, that dream that you've got about being a funeral celebrant, what if you die?
Oh.
And I went, what do you mean? He said, what if you die and you never get to do it?
Yeah.
You should go and do that. And rolled over and went back to sleep.
Oh, as you do.
And I lay there for the entire night thinking
thanks for
about
that
question.
Yeah.
He has no recollection of asking me that. It was sort of like spirit had gone to tell her this.
This is a message from somewhere for
absolutely.
you.
And my dad, unfortunately, had passed away quite early. He was 52, 15 years ago, and that really shook me up.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting in his funeral, which wasn't great.
Yeah.
It was interstate, and there were a few errors, and it really upset me. I was quite numb, and I thought no one should have to sit through something that's half effort.
Yeah.
I didn't think that the Celebrant had very good enunciation.
Yeah.
I don't think there'd been a lot of close association and work with my stepmother in organising the funeral.
Yeah.
And it wasn't my dad.
Yeah.
So I remember sitting there thinking, I don't know who I'm saying goodbye to, and that it took me 10 years to deal with his death.
Yeah, wow.
And that was the catalyst for me. So on a very frustrating day at work, I rang my husband and said, I think I'm going to resign from my job today, which he said, oh, yay, great. I've got debt and 5 children. I want you to be happy.
5 children
5
as well.
boys. Yeah. I want you to be happy.
Yeah, that's beautiful. To have that kind of support is amazing.
It was wonderful. So I got in my car. Yeah. I drove home. I bought a cake and had the word freedom piped on it, a bottle of Moe, and announced to all the children that night we're having chocolate cake and champagne for dinner.
And Mum's quit her job.
And And they're all like, yay, that's really great.
Yeah.
I very much...
Were they worried?
No,
they were supportive.
Yeah, they were.
Great.
And I think they've always seen Rick and I have one another's back. We're a partnership.
Great. Were you worried?
I was a little bit. I think, to be honest, my husband had more faith in me than I had in myself.
Yeah, that's often the way. Someone needs to believe in us first so we can go, okay, if you believe, maybe I could.
And he said, just don't give up. You just have a beautiful persona. You're very good with people, with families. Maybe you need to look at working in the industry before you jump in and start a business.
Okay,
my advice for everybody.
Would you say that's
absolutely.
A good idea?
Don't ever go into a craft of something that you don't know of.
Yeah.
And work within the industry, whether it's volunteering, paid work, so that it makes you the best all-rounder that you can be. So,
I love that. And, you know, I talk a lot about when we do workshops at the 7 Effect, the importance of lifelong learning. And, you know, we love to work with people to help them escape the job and build a lifestyle business that they love. But I'm not anti-jobs, and I think that it's important to get in a space and have a job and see it as your education, you know.
Absolutely.
Learn how to lead people, learn how to coach people, take on your role like you did, and just learn the ropes.
I have had
to do it.
Absolutely. I've had some of the most wonderful jobs, and I won't embarrass her, but I had a pretty amazing boss that I worked for in a charity, and she gave me one of my life's biggest lessons, and she said to me, if you always do the right thing, you'll always get the right results.
Yeah, beautiful.
And it's true, because it's working sincerely, it's working abundantly, it's working from gratitude, it's being honest, and it's being grateful for what you have. And if you did my demand to the universe, I've done everything you've told me to do so far, show me the way. Where am I meant to go? So sitting out on our deck every Saturday morning, as I was doing with a cup of tea, opened up the newspaper, and there was a full-time job for a full-time funeral director and celebrant with a local family-owned funeral company.
Wow.
5 minutes from my house, because I was spending 3.5 hours a day in the car driving to my job. Yeah. Who just so happened to be a corporate sponsor of a previous place I'd worked at.
So there was already a connection.
There was already a relationship.
Yeah,
and look, I was very privileged to work with this wonderful organisation. When I started with them, I was very honest and said, I do have visions of starting my own business as a celebrant. I'm already a qualified celebrant, and I'd been doing services for family and friends, but nothing through a funeral home.
How did they receive that? Because this is another big one here, Michelle. You know, a lot of people think, all right, I've got to get a job. I want to do something on the side, but I need to keep that very private. And for me, when I was working for the consulting firm BRS, and I still do some associate work for them, I was very upfront with Kim and said, we have this vision for the 7 Effect. I want to build it. I want to move into more of well-being and life design, and he was supportive of that. And I think, how did the employers take that?
It was good, and I've always had a belief: start as you mean to finish.
Yeah, nice.
My mother taught me that. Start as you mean to finish. So, you know, commence on a level playing field and be honest. as everybody knows that starts a business, the first 6 months.
Yeah, like Rachel was saying.
Your hairdresser.
Yeah,
and I really enjoyed that blog. And she's quite
Yeah.
correct, because the first 6 months of the business, for me, people still associated me with the funeral home that I worked with as a funeral director and a celebrant.
Yeah.
So I resigned from that job and then started my business.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, we had debt, we had children, we had expenses, you know, a tiny little bit of savings.
Yeah.
And I'm talking tiny little bit of savings, which paid for me to start the website. A couple of months of, you know, not doing any work, the savings
Just
quickly
getting the
became
brand out
absorbed,
there.
got the brand out there, and just started talking to a few funeral homes about my craft and making time and putting marketing letters out. I spent 6 months working full time every day on the business from 9 to 5, even though I didn't have any celebrancy work.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Getting myself out there and meeting with them, giving them an opportunity to know who I was.
So 6 months
6
working,
months.
and there wasn't actually the work flooding in. This was the
no
building
money.
stage. This
I
is
was
just
very
purely
fortunate,
invested in.
and I'll be honest, I was very fortunate with the funeral home that I was working with at the time. They agreed to use me as a celebrant freelance,
Brilliant.
which, because I'd been
That
honest
helps.
in the beginning,
Yeah.
and I had periods of hard slogs.
Yeah.
It's just not losing faith.
And in that's a really important thing, is not losing faith. And like Rachel said, the first 6 months there is doubt. Am I ever going to
Absolutely.
make money? Am I ever
Correct.
going to get the customers? So you had all of that as well.
Absolutely. And it's a really difficult industry, because Adelaide has the most wonderful celebrants, and you know, some of these celebrants have been working a long time.
Yeah.
So being a newcomer,
Was it hard being the new kid on the block?
Yes,
And you said as well, because Michelle's business name is the Organic Celebrant, which is such an unusual and unique name. And I said, wow, it's really cool. And yeah, you've had some mixed reviews.
I
Tell
did
us
when I
about
first
that.
started the business, and in hindsight, you know, the reason I called it the Organic Celebrant was because everything is homegrown. It's natural. It's organic. There's nothing artificial. It's from the heart.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be really well received. And some of the funeral directors who are very loyal to me now thought that I was some sort of drug smoking hippie. And look, that was a bit of a process too. But I think now that when they saw me in action, they saw me take the services and how I conducted myself with the families, and then the feedback they got from the families, they realised that I give 150%.
Yeah.
And
Nice to meet someone who has this deep connection to their sense of purpose and is now actually living it through. And it just comes through in everything you talk about, your business, the work you do.
Thank you.
It's just amazing. And, you know, I would just say, if you think back to Michelle's story, really one of the catalysts was your father's funeral.
Yes.
And it wasn't where you would have loved it to be. And it was something that didn't feel right at the time for Michelle. But even in those moments, the most amazing things could be born, because you see these opportunities where you go, there's a gap.
Yep.
Or there's a space where people aren't doing what I believe is possible in this space.
And I couldn't, we were chatting before, we were having a cup of tea, and we were chatting before about having faith. And to me, having faith is being at the bottom of the staircase and just being able to see that next step. I couldn't see all the way to the top of the staircase.
Yeah.
I couldn't see 3 years down the track that I would have a successful business, and I'd be so privileged to work with the most wonderful families.
Yeah.
All I could see was the next step, and it was the faith to get to the next step, and then the next step, and the next step. The support of my husband, I wouldn't have been able to do this without, because he is my debrief, my talking tool.
Yeah, great.
And then I get it all out, and then we focus on our family and get back to what's important.
Yeah, and that was one of the other things when we were having our cup of tea and our chat. Michelle was saying that, you know, sometimes you come home from work and maybe you've helped a family say goodbye to a child, and then you walk into your own home and you have dinner with your 5 children. And your husband by your side, and it's just the moments to be thankful.
Absolutely.
For what you have.
I invested in a new phone. I invested in my new Apple Mac, who I proudly call Audrey.
Oh,
Audrey Apple
she's
Mac.
Audrey. I haven't given mine a name, but I do love my Apple Mac.
She's got to have a personality. You should name her.
I will. I'll think about
and,
that.
And I've got an online accounting system, so I can receive a job from a funeral director, pull over on the side of the road, do my invoicing, it's sent out. It's automatically Bluetoothed and saved to my computer. It runs through to my printer when I walk through the door. And my business is where I am because I'm a mobile business. It saved me time, which has saved me money.
Yeah, great. And that's the thing, you know, it's an employee essentially. Audrey is
Absolutely.
your most valuable staff member or team
And like
member.
my car, we have a beautiful little car, and
Does
her
the
name
car
is
have a name? Yes,
Mavis.
of course she does.
Mavis is a little.
I love your team, Audrey and Mavis.
A little hatchback Mercedes. I thought about it for a while and wanted the name of an elegant older lady who was a bit sassy and had a bit of personality.
Yes.
So we called her Mavis. So every morning when I get into the car, I'm like, good morning, Mavis. Good morning, Audrey.
Yeah.
And they're really prominent, strong women in my business, because without them, I wouldn't have a business.
I love that. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, so Michelle, just to wrap up, you know, for all of the mums out there who are maybe where we were a few years ago, working but feeling like I'm not fully doing what I'd love, and maybe there's a calling in me to do something different, what would be 3 pieces of advice, or maybe 3 lessons that you've learned that you could offer out to any mums out there who would love to give something a go?
Okay. Find your passion.
Yeah.
And I attended a dinner party many, many years ago, and I had stockbrokers and bankers and actors, and there were 20 or 30 people at this table, and we were all told that if our life was going to end in 6 months and we had to work, and we would wake up tomorrow morning being automatically qualified in whatever we were, what would you do?
Wow, great question.
So that's your passion. That's how you find your passion.
Whatever you do is your passion.
And I knew I wanted to work with people,
and that's
in
what
death,
you would do.
and that's what I would do.
Yeah.
My next suggestion would be, don't leave anything to chance. Research, research, research.
Okay.
I was very lucky when I first tried to break into the industry nearly 3 years ago, to get a couple of mentors who have actually become very close friends, and they were very gracious in introducing me to a few funeral homes. I would say is, don't let ego take you away. Don't operate on ego.
So tell us what you mean by that.
Don't ever think that you're bigger than where you are.
Yep.
And don't ever forget where you came from. Don't ever forget the reason behind what you're doing.
Now, one of the things that I always love to end on, and we didn't chat about this before, is just, you know, the purpose of this as well is to help spread the word about amazing mums with cool stories who have local businesses here. And I will share your website and your Facebook page here on the blog. But is there anything else that you'd like to do? We've had the other mums, you know, the hairdressing and the food coaching, give a discount or an offer.
Certainly,
this
I'm
is an
quite
interesting
happy
one.
to.
It's like, well, hopefully you won't need a funeral too quickly,
well, hopefully I won't be seeing you
How do we
anytime
promote-
soon.
how do we
But
promote this?
well, look, certainly if there's a couple out there looking to renew their vows, or a naming day, or a christening, I'm really happy to give 10% off.
Oh, lovely.
And I'm really happy
thank
to
you.
donate that to a charity of the family's choice.
Oh, that's
So,
great.
yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. Yep, excellent.
So, but it's been such a wonderful privilege. It's really, I think the idea of I Love Mondays is just wonderful. There are so many amazing, empowered women in South Australia that we just don't hear about, that I've been lucky enough to cross paths with.
Yeah.
And we need to stick together and motivate one another.
Yeah, and sharing each other's stories is such a joy. So thank you so much, Michelle.
You're very welcome.
It's been
Thank you.
wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Have a wonderful
Thanks,
Monday, everyone. See you later. Bye.
I can do anything